Chronicles of the Grim Reaper, The Final Flight, by Griz Calderon. High atop a mountain untouched by time, where the clouds seemed to rest on jagged peaks, Fiona lived with her mate, in a place of breathtaking beauty. The world below them was endless, with sprawling forests that stretched endlessly into the horizon. Streams of crystal-clear water tumbled from hidden springs, creating waterfalls that glistened in the sunlight, feeding the rivers that wound like veins through the valleys far below. The sky above their mountain was almost always clear, and from their perch they could see all of creation. The mountain was their sanctuary, a fortress of peace, far from the humans who lived in fear of what they did not know. Fiona was magnificent. Her scales shimmered in the sunlight, a rich blend of emerald and gold that rippled with every movement. Her wings were vast, spanning wide enough to block out the sun when she flew, their edges tipped with fiery orange like the sky at sunset. Her eyes were a deep amber, sharp and intelligent, always alert to the world around her. She moved with grace, her muscular form built for both flight and power, and her long tail could strike with the force of a whip, able to bring down trees in a single swing. Fire, the purest flame, could burst from her mouth, but Fiona only used it in play or protection. She had strength beyond imagination, but her heart was kind, always searching for a reason to help rather than harm. The humans lived miles away, far below, in a small village tucked away in a valley surrounded by thick forests. It was a simple village, filled with farmers and craftspeople, who lived in fear of the legends passed down through generations. Tales of fire-breathing dragons who razed entire villages to the ground. Though the dragons had never attacked, the humans remained ever watchful, always prepared for the unknown. For years, there had been no contact between the two worlds, the humans content to avoid the mountain, and the dragons indifferent to the lives below. One evening, as Fiona and her mate rested on their mountain, a storm began to gather. The sky, once clear and peaceful, darkened quickly, the wind howling through the trees below. Fiona watched as the clouds thickened, their edges illuminated by the bright flashes of lightning. The first strike hit a tree in the distance, setting it ablaze, and soon the forest below was alight with flames. The storm grew fiercer, and the lightning crashed into the village. Sparks ignited rooftops, and within minutes, the once peaceful village was engulfed in flames. Fiona saw the fire from their mountain home, her sharp eyes narrowing with concern. She could see the panic spreading among the humans, and though they had kept their distance for years, she could not ignore their suffering. "We must help them," Fiona said, her voice carrying on the wind. Her mate, cautious and reluctant, shook his head. "It's not our place. Humans have always feared us, and they will attack us if we go." But Fiona's heart was set. She could not bear to see the village destroyed when they could do something to help. "We cannot stand by and do nothing," she insisted. "We have the power to stop this." Reluctantly, her mate agreed, not because he believed in the cause, but because he couldn't let Fiona go alone. They took to the sky, their massive wings beating against the wind as they descended toward the burning village. The humans saw them coming from miles away. Two dark figures soaring through the fiery dark sky, their wings cutting through the smoke. Panic spread through the village as they remembered the old stories of dragons laying waste to entire cities. The villagers scrambled to prepare, grabbing whatever weapons they had. Some continued to battle the fire, but others turned their focus on the approaching dragons, readying nets and chains. As Fiona and her mate neared the village, they could see the chaos unfolding below. The flames raged out of control, and despite the humans' best efforts, the fire spread faster than they could manage. Fiona swooped lower, intending to help quench the flames with the water from a nearby stream, but the humans had already decided their fate. Without warning, a volley of chains and nets was launched into the sky. Fiona, caught by surprise, struggled against the heavy bindings, but the more she fought, the more entangled she became. Her wings were bound, and she tumbled from the sky, crashing to the ground with a thunderous roar. Her mate circled above, roaring in fury, but he was too far to intervene. The humans swarmed around Fiona, their fear driving them to brutality. They struck her down, their weapons piercing her scales as they paraded around her dying body. Fiona's vision blurred as the pain set in, her strength leaving her. She had only wanted to help, but now she lay dying in the very village she had sought to save. The heat of the flames surrounded her, and as her consciousness faded, the world grew darker. Through the thick smoke and fiery sky, the grim Reaper appeared. His form was cloaked in shadows, his presence silent but undeniable. He moved toward her, his scythe gleaming in the dim light. As he approached, time seemed to slow, and the chaos around her faded into the background. "Fiona," the Reaper spoke, his voice calm and steady. "Your time in this world is ending. You have done all you could. Close your eyes, and when you wake, there will be no more pain." Fiona, though overcome with pain, felt a strange sense of peace as the Reaper spoke. His words were soothing to her soul. With her last breath, she looked to the sky, where her mate still circled, his cries of grief echoing through the air. She wished she could call out to him, tell him she was at peace, but she had no strength left. The Reaper, sensing her sorrow, offered her a final comfort. "He will see you again. Your bond is not broken." With that, Fiona closed her eyes. Her body, once mighty and powerful, fell still, but her soul was at peace. As the Reaper guided her away from the world of the living, they passed her mate in the sky. The Reaper, without words, sent a wave of calm to the grieving dragon, letting him know that their story was not over. Together, Fiona and the Reaper disappeared into the fiery sky, her spirit free at last. The end.